Caddo Parish Commissioner Steven Jackson, and I want to get right to your point that you made on your Facebook page. Steven, I want to let you say it because I think you said it so eloquently, and I'm right on there with you.
Well, good morning, Aaron and Councilwoman Fuller. Always good to be on. But, yeah, no, I just was making a statement that between the city, the parish, and even the school board, there'll be $100 million in windfall revenue that's going to come through our local governments here. And if our community is anywhere the same after those dollars are spent, those of us who are in elected or appointed capacity will have no one to blame but ourselves because it's the decisions we would have made.
Okay. That's such a great point because you guys are the gatekeepers. You guys make the decisions about how this money is spent. What would you put as a priority for what you can do with this money that will change our city?
Well, that's a good question. What I would do is, first let me applaud at least the city of Shreveport for going out and doing listening sessions to listen to the community so that they can have a community-oriented, community-driven plan. And whether the city decides to listen to it or not, Councilwoman Fuller, I hope you're going to, push for that. But
right.
The things that I think we should prioritize are communities and neighborhoods. We should prioritize small and emerging businesses to help them build capacity. There's obviously a component of public safety that we need to look at, but public safety in a sense of smart and investing in community-oriented policing, truly investing in community-oriented policing. And then there's some things centered around investing in, infrastructure capacity building. And so making sure that, when opportunities come, we're ready to proceed with those opportunities. What I wouldn't be investing in is a bunch of buildings that we already have dedicated tax revenue for.
Councilwoman Fuller?
I agree with that. What I hear is someone saying that if we keep doing status quo, and that's how you end up having the same city that you already have. What is your vision for what the city could look like if we actually get out of status quo thinking?
Well, I think you could have a city where individuals wouldn't be afraid to live in certain areas, where individuals wouldn't have to go out and live on the perimeter and stretch our infrastructure so thin. I think you'd have a city where, businesses who want to do something, whether it's tech startup, healthcare, things like that, they will see that, hey, they have the existing capacity and infrastructure. We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with IRG, and they told us, look, we have a lot of people, we have a lot of companies, but they skip over y'all because they don't think you have a workforce. I don't see anything in the parish program that talks about workforce capacity and building workforce capacity. So I think we're just missing a lot of puzzles, and hopefully we'll use this millions of dollars to invest in those gaps that we know we have.
Stephen, let me ask you this, because you're one of 12, as we all know. Councilwoman Fuller is one of 7. There has always been in history, and I'm a little bit older than you guys. There's always been a history. Okay, I'm a lot older, whatever. There's always been a history of, this is the parish money, this is ours, and that's the city, and they do their job and we do our job. I hear you saying more this morning that, you know what, we all need to come together and put all this money kind of in a pool, and let's all identify the problems together. Do you think you can get buy-in for that?
You would think in a city that is progressive and moving forward, that's probably what is happening. I don't know why that's not happening.
You said it. You said, I'm sorry to interrupt. You said a city that's progressive and moving forward. Like,
correct.
Yeah, like we have potential for that, but the indicators are that we're status quo.
Right. And so I think, if it's easy, if it's quick, if it's status quo, I think, individuals will just say, okay, let's do what we know, which is basically status quo. I don't see any outreach. I don't know that, I've tried to get to as many of the city meetings as I can, but I don't see where there's any synergies going. And again, if you take these dollars and invest them right, we can transform our community. We don't have to look. This is a once in a lifetime investment in our community, direct windfall above and beyond the tax revenues that we would ordinarily get. And tax revenues hadn't dropped off. In fact, in some cases, tax revenues are better.
Mm-hmm.
So this is truly a gift that we're getting, and it just seems like we're just going to do what we've always done. And I think we're missing an opportunity if leadership doesn't get in the room and say, let's come up with a plan to truly transform our community. But it sounds like we just want to rush through the process.
Boy, you just said something. Why don't you, Councilwoman Fuller, and it sounds like y'all will, commit today that we're going to set up some sort of mechanism for the commission, the school board, the city, to have some folks sit at a table and say, here's some things we can do to transform our community. Are you committed to something like that? And let's make something like that happen?
Yeah, well, I'm committed to it. I think Councilwoman Fuller is committed to it. I think, Aaron, what we need is what I've learned is public pressure.
Yes.
In this case, will make a pipe burst. And, Keel does a good job at, getting messaging out. And sometimes I say call it stirring the pot, if you, depending on what the issue is.
Of course.
But I think we need to make sure that we're getting the message out. A lot of people didn't even know what the parish proposal was. They don't even pay attention to parish meetings a lot of times. Mm-hmm. And so they don't even know that we're about to get $43 million. And so I think there needs to be some public pressure. I think folks like Tim Magner at the Chamber need to step up and be a voice and say, hey, let's convene and do this right. I think folks like Billy Anderson at the African American Chamber, they need to speak up and say, hey, we need local leaders to come to the table and get this right and not do what we've always done. I think we need to hire education leaders, Dr. Ellis, Dr. Mm-hmm. Clark, Pensionaries President, to step up and say, how are we going to invest these dollars so that our community, all of these business leaders, it's going to have to be some public pressure because, as you just noted, Lavette is 1 of 7, I'm 1 of 12, so we're obviously in the minority.
Right.
So we can say it and suggest it, but to get it done, it's going to take some pressure.
So what the average Joe that is listening to you, or Josephine that's listening to you, what do you suggest they do? Contact their commissioner, their city councilman, the mayor? They should do it all, right?
Phone calls and emails?
Go ahead. Yes, I suggest they contact. I suggest they go to those meetings. I suggest that they demand that the parish have some type of meeting because we're putting together a plan that we've never even heard from the citizens on it. Commissioner Everson pointed that out, is the parish doesn't know what the citizens want from these meetings. And so if we don't advocate, if the public doesn't advocate for us to do the right thing, I can just tell you, you're going to get what you've always got.
Right.
I want, and I'll tell you as a commissioner, you're not my commissioner, but you're 1 of 12, and I look to you to pass my message along. I want the Caddo Commission to do what will help our city, if that's help the city buy fire trucks or whatever it is, to make our city better. Come to the table with the whole pot of money and let's all do it together. That's what I want, and I hope our message can be heard loud and clear.
Well, Eric, y'all have a microphone, and I hope that we can lean on Keel and we can lean on other advocates to, speak into that microphone and put the pressure on leaders. Today is an opportunity right here because I know folks are listening. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, the parish plan that we came up with, 4 people got together. The committee that was established is not legal. It wasn't even legal to put the committee together. And they came together and just came up with some projects. No community input, no other commissioners' input. And we're just running with this.
Mm.
And there's nothing more status quo than that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Caddo Commissioner Steven Jackson, I can't thank you enough for your time, and I'm going to read his message to you one more time so you can let this sink in. With $100 million between city, parish, and school board from the American Rescue Plan, if our community is the same after this money is spent, we have no one to blame but ourselves. Speaking of Mr. Commissioner, I am part of the we that I speak of. Great points, and hope we can get you in studio and we can discuss this more.
Sure. Thank you. Y'all have a great day. Thanks, Councilwoman. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner.